Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'll be talking about the evolution of music formats. Enjoy! Wax cylinders are one of the oldest, if not the oldest, music format in existence. It was first invented by Thomas Edison and first produced by Edison's company. They also produced the best-selling cylinder phonographs, of which the most iconic is the Edison home phonograph. The way they function is through etched grooves in the cylinder's surface. When the needle passes through the grooves, it vibrates. The vibrations are sent to a horn, which reproduces the sound by vibrating. At first, wax cylinders were rarely sold because they were expensive to produce and cylinders were only good for a few playbacks. But with time, the technology was improved and they became much cheaper to produce. Music box discs. The music box discs were first produced in the 1880s and were most popular in the early 1900s. The discs were very cheap to make because of their simple nature and sold more than wax cylinders. Unfortunately, in the 1910s, with the rise of phonographs, most companies that produced music box discs were driven out of business. This marked the end of the disc format. The way music box discs work is through pins that are formed when the metal disc is pressed. The pins then rub through a metal comb which vibrates, creating sound. Fun fact, a music box disc machine actually inspired the creation of the jukebox. The machine functioned exactly like a jukebox. You enter a coin, select the song you want, and it plays it for you. The 78 RPM record was first introduced and invented by Emil Berliner in 1897. At first, they were only meant to be used as a toy because of their limited and poor sound quality. Eventually, with improvements, this problem was solved. By 1919, the patent he owned for records expired, and the record industry exploded and took over as we know it. The record works by a needle tracing through an etched groove. The grooves vibrate the needle. Then the vibrations are carried through a reproducer and then into a horn. The horn vibrates and sound comes out on a gramophone. In an electric setup, it's much more complicated. 33 1/3, also known as vinyl records, were first introduced in 1948 after World War II. These records are made of a special mixture of plastics and other materials known as vinylite. These records work the same way as 78 RPM records. The only difference is that the playback speed is slower and the grooves are 3 times smaller. The 45 RPM record is just like the 33 1/3 RPM record. It is made out of the exact same materials and works in the exact same manner. The only difference is that the record diameter is much smaller and the record plays back at a faster speed. And in some cases, the hole in the middle is much bigger than the normal records. The compact cassette was originally introduced in 1963 and works in the exact same way as the reel-to-reel format. The only difference is that the tape has a much smaller width and is encased inside a small plastic case. The CD, also known as a compact disc, was first introduced in 1982. At the time, the technology behind it was very advanced and obviously took over and outsold the compact cassette. It also outsold vinyl records, which, fun fact, in 2020 sold more than CDs since 1983. CD was also the first digital music format introduced to the world.